Good luck.
Cool. Thanks. Alright, everyone. I'm SmellyMctroll, and I will be your guide here to Adventures of Mana, this is just pretty much a one-to-one conversion of the original Seiken Densetsu Final Fantasy adventure for Vita. Came out back in 2016, and it's actually I think I got echo here. Anyway, yeah, so I'll get started here in a second. Pretty cool game. Get comfy. It's a couple-hour run. And time will be starting once I hit confirm here. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. Alright, so with any Final Fantasy adventure game, we're going to start off with the big cats. And these guys, you just want to... Actually, I kind of messed it up here. You kind of want to take a damage boost, just so you get enough spacing to hit them with the tip of your sword. But the difference between good cats and bad cats is maybe just a second or two. So it's not like a super serious strat or anything. But it does look nice when you pull it off, and it feels good. In fact, a lot of the strats feel pretty good when you pull it off in this game. You kind of become a glass cannon after a while. Alright, here we go. Round 2. 1, 2, 3. Get your 3-hit combo. Kind of botched that one too. Okay. That was a little bit longer. Probably lost about 2 seconds there. No big deal. Alright, so we are Sumo, and now we're escaping from Castle Glaive sewers out through the tunnel where they brought the jackals in, these big cats. And then we run into the 2 major antagonists of the game. So we have Dark Lord there on the left, and Julius, the guy that just disappeared out. And Dark Lord, aka Stroud, he doesn't like one of his prisoners out here in the run, so he's just going to attack Sumo, knock him down the waterfall. And this is actually a scene you'll be seeing quite a few times throughout the run. A few different times. Okay, so now we can get started proper. So out here, I'm actually getting a lot of goblin spawns, and I don't like that. So goblins are very likely to drop a chest. If you run into a goblin at a choke point, they are likely to drop a chest right in that choke point, and then you'll have to get it, and then that sets off a tutorial, so you just lose a bunch of time for it. Now we're gonna go rescue Fuji. It's got an okay pattern on these mushrooms. Sometimes they're like really spread out throughout this screen. So while we have Fuji, it does introduce a new mechanic into the game, the Ask ability. So if you see that little dialogue bubble up there, each partner you get will have a unique ability. Fuji's is to heal, and it looks like I'll be using that sooner rather than later. Throughout a run, I usually use Fuji's healing on this section just a couple times. Once out of the cabin, and then once out of the shop. And then we'll see, I'm actually getting some really bad enemy spawns here. Whew. Those imps are dangerous. They do like 5 damage. Yeah, they're definitely an item of concern pretty early on in this run. So you don't want to see too many of them. But we got some friendly rabbits here. And then on to Bogard's cabin. I mean, Mysterious Woodcutter. So we're just going to pester him a little bit. Got to talk to him 3 times, and then eventually he'll listen to you. He'll see that Fuji has the Mana Pendant, and tells us to go on to Wendell. And then we get a chest tutorial, because this is the first chest I've opened in the game. So, just opening this one first just combines the tutorial and the menu here where I have to equip the Manok. So I'm just going to give it a little here. A little heal, I mean. And we're going to be on our way. So, on the second leg of the journey, it's kind of a big RNG gamble here. So that red bar at the bottom of the screen is called the stamina bar, and the damage you do is proportional to how much that bar is filled. When that bar is entirely filled, you get a special attack with your weapon. The sword being the primary weapon for attacking, it gets 2. It gets a little spin that you'll be seeing actually quite often throughout this run, and then a little sword dash too, which is pretty useful. It puts you in iframes all the way through the whole animation. And I can save a little bit of time on a screen, actually a couple seconds if enemies give me the right pattern, because there's going to be a screen where I have to kill every single enemy. Oh man. Oh man. Oh, these goblins. There are goblins everywhere. Okay, so he's going to try to sell me an axe. I don't have enough money for it yet, so I'm just going to buy a couple stacks of keys, and then probably heal up twice here, because now I'm going to go into the swamp. Swamp's pretty scary because any enemy you bump into has the chance to poison you. And that poison drains 2 lives per tick, which is fairly scary this early on in the run. I only have like 19 health. So yeah, they do their normal damage on top of poison, so it's just a bad day. Oof, that's a good juke. Alright, I didn't get too many enemies at a choke point, so now we're in Ket Manor. So here. We actually get our first spell of the run, the Cure spell. Right after this cutscene. So, it's a pretty long journey, kind of stressful, just gonna bed down for the night. Yeah, they're like universal locks, basically. You can just buy a stack of keys, which actually you don't need that many to get through the game. So we get the Cure spell. She gives us the spell before we go to bed. Wake up. Fuji's gone. We need to get her back. And what's interesting between Final Fantasy Adventure and Sword of Mana, they actually flipped these 2 sections. So in Sword of Mana, you go through the mansion first, and then you go through Marsh Cave. This section, we're going to go through Marsh Cave first. Or in this version, rather. And then Lizardmen. Looks like they gave me actually a really good pattern here. I'm just going to get away. There we go. These Lizardmen are somewhat scary. So they can attack really, really quickly. So, grouping them up like that with that sword spin just makes that room a little bit faster and actually a little bit safer. So that was actually an excellent pattern. That was wonderful. And now we meet the mysterious Red Mage. He's going to be our ally here for the next few minutes while I go after these leeches. So, the target creature in this area are going to be those leeches. Not only do they give the most XP of any enemy in this area, they give like 10. But they also drop Maddox, which are very, very useful in this run. And I need to keep a pretty good stock of them. And so my level target for this dungeon is actually level 6. The boss... He's a boss. He's a boss that is very heavily RNG based. So the more damage I can pump into him, the better. Yeah, I think these like spaghetti head guys are like only worth 5. So I chase them down if they're around, if they're pretty close to me. If they're further away, I don't really worry about them as much. Definitely not as important as the leeches. Alright. So, the first Well, I guess, yeah, this is the first non-attacking weapon for the game. Or, I guess I should say, the first weapon that is not primarily used for attacking. and you can kind of see the difference. So the sword starts up really quickly. The scythe has a really big wind up. And that's true of pretty much every other weapon in the game, because they're primarily used as tools. Oop. That's actually a scary spot to attack. Can never tell which level of the map those guys are on. So half the time I just stay up on that log. But you can just really just whiff there and get hit by the leech, which still does a ton of damage at this point. Alright. Clear these guys out. Looks like I'm a little behind on experience, so I might try to force level 6. Oh, that is really good. A key drop. Okay. Chase down here. Oh, that's not even good. That's like basically a no XP room. This one kind of is too. Yeah, it's looking like I'm gonna have to force level 6. Which I'm okay with. At this point, it's really just gonna be backtracking out of one screen and going back into it. Respawning the enemies. Right? It's possible I could get it on this screen. See what happens. Nope. Oh, Madoc drop. I will most certainly take that. It's a pretty good drop so far. A Madoc and a key. But not the most important drop, since I can just buy those in the shop. The next section will start with the really important drops. Alright. Level 6. Level 6. Alright, I like it. I like it a lot. So, I just need Hydra to cooperate. Hydra is probably one of the worst bosses in the game, and you have to fight him right up front. But first, I need to survive this room. I also need to keep my stamina bar filled. So, that's kind of a strategy, a universal strategy for every boss in this game. I want to walk into the boss fight with the stamina bar filled. That way I can get a death blow and do a bunch of damage to him right off the bat. Hydra will go up and down and back and forth, and a lot of the time he will not cooperate, so it is not uncommon to be like a minute or two behind at this point. We'll see what happens here, though. Alright, there we go. Spin, spin, spin. Oh, that was a good one. Thank you, Hydra. And I try to get into a position where I can block his fireballs with my shield, and then he goes after Julius. Ooh. Hydra. Hydra is cooperating. I like this a lot. A few more hits left on him. That was such a good fight. Oh my god, I haven't gotten a fight like that in forever. That was total cooperation on his part. Alright, so, pick up the Fireball spell, which pretty much won't be seeing at this point, the way this run's evolved. Unless it's an emergency, I'll switch to it. But we're just going to put that in our pocket and move on. So, I'm going to do a little bit of backtracking, and now that I have the sickle, I can just shortcut this screen. So, this guy tried to sell me a battle axe before, and now we're actually going to buy it because we need it to progress. And then, you know what? I'm going to buy some stacks of Maddox. Because, you know, why not? They're so useful. And one more for the road. Alright. Let's go. Yeah, I'm not quite sure who this Red Mage is. Yeah, he just kind of popped up. You know, he gave us a hand, so... he was actually performing very well on Hydra. I hope nothing unfortunate happens. Alright, so this menu, I want to pop on that mirror. I want to pop on this axe. The axe is a little more powerful than the sword. I think the axe actually has the second fastest startup as far as swing is concerned. And it has a very wide hitbox, too. which we'll be making use of that pretty far into the run. But we take the mirror, we put it in front of the butler's face, and he reveals himself as this terrifying werewolf that goes down in 3 hits, and then we move on. So the target enemy in this dungeon are going to be those blood owls, those big blue owls that are floating around, and I'm hoping I get a crystal drop. And I also hope that zombies are not blocking my path here. Right? I survived. That's what's important. Ooh, 1 crystal drop. I'm looking for 2. 2 is optimal. Like, for sure. 1 is fine, though. I'm pretty close to death. And to level up, apparently. Alright, so the target level here is going to be level 8. That's going to make the boss fight a lot easier. Right? Just going to antagonize these guys, and pumpkins to a small extent. They don't have quite as much experience on them, but still, I need to get that level 8. Ooh, good rune. Real good rune. Please, I need a drop. Like, if I do only end up with 1 crystal drop, it's not the end of the world. I'll just lose about 15 seconds or so, a little bit later on in the run. But yeah, it's not terrible. So we're gonna push through, and I'm gonna pick up my next weapon here in a second. Still antagonizing these guys. Hopefully I get another drop. And here we are, the flail. So I'm just gonna put that on my quick slot real quick. Yeah, all the weapons, besides the sword, are just used as tools to progress through the game. They have various uses. This flail is really good, though. So you can get multiple enemies at a time like that. The startup on it is airborne, so you can hit some bosses that are above you, or just enemies in general that are flying up above you, pestering you. Yeah, and it has like an enormous backswing too. So you can kill a lot of enemies at the same time with it. Flails are really good. Yeah, so this game came out on Android as well as PS Vita. It was built in the same engine as Rise of Mana, which came out 2 years before it. Which, that was a JP-only Mana game. Same platforms, Vita and mobile. And then they went on to use this engine in the Secret of Mana remake as well. Alright, so there it is, level 8. And now we're at the objective of the dungeon. We've got Fuji, so now I've just got to get back to the beginning. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the engine name is, but it is pretty recognizable. Oops. These guys are kind of scary too. These guys can still poison me. Poison is definitely still a threat at this point. Yeah, so I'm just going to make my way back to the beginning, and then I'm going to have a certain screen where I'm just going to stop attacking, just like in Marsh Cave, so I can save up my death blow to use at the beginning of the fight for the boss here. But for now, oh my god, I got a 3rd crystal drop. These guys are being so kind right now. It's actually amazing. I think I'm almost to level 9, actually. Yeah, this seems like a really high XP run already, which is great. Alright, swing, swing, swing and a miss. Yeah, so you can see, like, when I'm swinging with the flail, because it's so good, and because it's used as a tool, I'm just locked in place for a bit. So you really got to pick your spots. So thank you for the good luck. I will put that in my pocket, because they're There's some bosses towards the end of this run that are just no joke. Okay, so I still have that axe on. I need to go ahead and switch to my sword here. Gonna throw that bad boy on, and we are at Le Boss. Alright, so Count Lee. I'm just gonna run up into this corner. He's gonna jump. I'm gonna spin. I'm gonna push up into the corner so he doesn't attack me. Kinda dump this whole spin into him. And I should only have to hit him 6 times. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm just gonna dodge his attack just to be safe. Apparently I can't hit him. But there he goes. Easy peasy. Just do a little dance with him. Nothing too serious. And now we're off on the next leg of the journey. We're gonna go to the holy city of Wendell. And to get there, I need to equip every single tool that I've collected so far. And we're gonna start with the sickle. Yeah, there's no orb here to collect. We did get a spell though, so I guess that's the substitute. So yeah, as you've already seen, I need the sickle to cut down those leaves, and then there's a little flail post that I need to get past here too. Just grab onto that, and here you're going to see the use for the axe. So just seen the axe in combat, but that's what it does as a tool. It cuts down these trees. And that's going to be used a lot, actually, in this run. And scary screen, you never know where those guys are going to be darting around. Alright, so Holy City Wendell. We are here to see Sage Siva. He's right up ahead. So, Siva sees the pendant, and he tells her to step forth into this magic circle, where she receives a vision. This is Fuji, by the way. I don't know if I actually introduced her or not. So that's something I kind of want to play around with, is magic in this game. It doesn't seem to be very strong. Not like in Final Fantasy Adventure. But, should be pretty interesting to play around with, at least. In this run, it's basically all physical damage. There are very few spots where I actually use magic. In fact, I have to use magic in a couple spots, and I carry an ether around, just in case I run out. Alright, so here's our friend, the Red Mage. Oh, look! He's not just a friendly Red Mage at all, he's Julius. Man. And Julius does what he does. He just likes tossing fireballs at Sumo. So he kidnaps Fuji, and he knocks Sumo out, and he gets away. So, now I gotta go chase him down. And this is another section where I kind of hope for really good drops. These drops are arguably more important than the crystals. So, I'm going to be fighting a bunch of crabs. This is going to turn into crab fight for a little bit. Because they drop an item called Bacchus Wine. And Bacchus Wine does boost up your strength for, I believe, 12 seconds by 15 points. So with that, you can actually melt some of the bosses, like, very, very quickly. And I guess I'm just not even going to give chase down there. We'll see what happens. Optimally, I get 2. If I get a third one, I'm not going to complain about that. I'm just going to keep it in my inventory. Probably drop a crystal for it. Oh, look, there's one right off the bat. And, oh. These... Okay. That's the thing that happened. The crab came straight at me. So yeah, this game is built like so close to the original that enemies can just spawn on top of you whenever you get into a screen, and there's like nothing you can do about it. Oops. I think I'm gonna drop a crystal later. Now I need Bacchus Wine, and I'm just gonna push forward. Oh, look at that! This is such good luck. A third Bacchus Wine drop. A third Bacchus Wine drop. That's crazy. This never happens. I'm actually really excited. How many crystals do I have? I think... Nah. I'll leave it behind. It's fine. It's fine. But wow. That was insane. So there is a boss towards the end of the game that it is very nice to have Bacchus Wine for. But I'll try my luck again. If not, I'll just get him the normal way. And I want to take these guys out right here. Because they will straight up do that right there. They will toss their spears through the trees to get you. Alright, so I went down there to grab some oil. And I'm going to replace that there. I'm going to throw that oil on here. Where are we at? There we go. Because I don't need any keys in this dungeon. All I need is the oil to get this minecart going. Give it it has a squeaky wheel. Oh god. Oh wow. That guy spawned right on top. No, not World Record Face. It could be though. Alright, so you just gotta change the track. So you want to hit switch 2 and switch 3. It changes the track to throw you right off here. Why they built this mine like this, like, I don't know. It seems pretty crazy. And then we get Watts. So Watts' ask ability is pretty interesting. He just turns into a mobile shop. But I don't ever actually need to use him unless I'm in some sort of emergency. Whew. Which, oh my god. Wow, 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 wow. Alright. That was a heck of a room. I'm so close to leveling too. Should only have to kill just a few more enemies. Gonna get... Okay, I'm so glad I got both those guys. That could have been a death. And then I'm just gonna keep swinging. Pretty close. Alright, another scary screen. Those jumping enemies, you just never know where they're gonna land. Okay, there's the level. Alright, so I do want to hold off attacking here. Because the boss is coming up in just a few screens. These guys are not going to let me... They're not going to let me get away with it. Oh, oh, there we go. Okay. So, I'll see what pattern I get on this screen. Oh, a nice one. Kind of. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. So, I'm one shot for the boss anyway, so I don't really care about that hit. I'm going to toss on the Bacchus Wine. We got a nice quick save point. So, I'm going to do this, and we'll get into it. So, Megapede. He is actually incredibly scary. So if you're like a pixel or two off when you're doing this... excuse me? What even happened there? Oh man. Alright, so... double KO? Huh. Alright. Round 2. So apparently his hitbox stays active for like a few frames after he dies. Learn something new every day. But yeah, so that's what the Bacchus Wine is for right there. Like, you just power up and it just melts the boss. And I think it's still active too, which is the crazy thing. Yeah, so that's a thing too in this game. They removed dying from the boss explosions in this game, which is very, very nice. They kind of just replaced that with like their hitboxes. So their hitboxes are kind of insane, especially when they start moving and they expand. So I was a little bit slower in the kill the second time around, but we got him. Alright, so for the next part, I do need some sort of mithril equipment. The mithril sword is really good because it nullifies a lot of resistances throughout the next part of the game. So I'm gonna throw that on, I'm gonna throw my axe on, and then drop some keys. And I will need the flail coming up too, but I'll just wait to menu for that. Just gonna sneak past these pigmen. Hope I get another Bacchus Wine drop. No? No? Okay, there's another screen with crabs. So you actually do need to have your mithril sword equipped, or whatever mithril equipment you decide to pick up from Dwarf's Town. Otherwise, the guy is just gonna spit you back out. And I thought I turned those off. I'm not really sure, like, what's going on with that. Sorry about that, folks. Anyway, there's Gaia's Pass. There's just one little invisible switch right there, and that's pretty much the end of the dungeon. Alright, so now we're back at it. So I'm going to use my axe, and then get ready for this screen, right here. This situation, minus the Wolfman jumping at me there. Oops. I'm all out of sorts. So I accidentally tapped New Game. This is fine though, you can just back out of the screen. It's not a big deal. A little bit distracted. That's okay. Gonna bring it back to the rails here. So, like I was saying, gonna equip this axe, and then this scene right here, this one with me attacking the wolves. Get used to that. We're gonna see that a lot in just a few minutes. And no Bacchus Wine drop, unfortunately. But that's fine. Just gonna push forward. And this is probably one of the most dangerous areas in the run. Like, those chickens will fire at you indiscriminately, like that. And then that happens too. These screens are actually very, very crowded too. So I'm just going to sneak in here to buy a few more Maddox, because they are very, very important. And I'm just going to take my time through here. Alright. Yeah, I don't want to walk right into a mob of these guys. Okay. So here's where the crystal kind of saves a little bit of time. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw on my flail now. I'm going to throw on a crystal. So crystals will instantly fill your stamina bar, just like that. I'm going to wait for this guy to move out of the way, because they're a little scary. As I almost walk into that guy. Yeah, those purple clouds do a lot of damage. There's just so many enemies hanging out at these flail posts. Yeah, I saw someone mention the wah. Like, there it is. Full effect. Alright. Okay. Good and clear. So now moving on to Airship. Airship's a fairly easy section. I think I only need 1 key and 1 Maddock for this whole dungeon. It's pretty quick to get through, not too many threats, but we're going to stay here for a few minutes longer. So again, the only objective in this dungeon is to get to Fuji. And it only takes a few rooms in to get to her. Also, this is going to be the first dungeon where I start using a defensive spin, because the enemy damage ramps up quite a bit in these sections. And the spin kind of shrinks your hitbox, doesn't make it disappear completely, like enemies can still hit you if they get close enough, but it does provide a good spacer. So you can move through some screens very, very safely. Alright. So one more floor here. Gonna release the hounds and spin it up. Make sure I get all these guys before I step on that switch. If I step on a switch or go up or down some stairs, it does instantly just stop the spin, which is advantageous on some screens. Like there. Stopped it a little bit early so I can just go back into my regular walk animation. And that's my cue to drop on some keys. So do that. And here's Fuji. She's just being held prisoner on this airship behind another universal key door. Bogard's going to give us a little advice. He says he's going to stay there. He's going to guard Fuji. And yeah, you go around and you do all the hard work. So, now I've got to go around to the outside of the airship to free her. Yes, this is a 1-to-1 remake of Final Fantasy Adventure for Game Boy. Okay, so that was my 1 key use in this dungeon. And the 1 Maddock use is still coming up. Oops. Gotta avoid those guys. Those eyeballs are pretty funny. So, their projectile can Moogle you, but if you run into them, they will petrify you. And on a rare occasion, it can happen at the exact same time. And you get some pretty funny graphical stuff that happens. But, oh man, there's a lot of pigmen there. It's right on me there. Alright, I'm just gonna spin out here just to be safe. I'm gonna attack these guys to be safe as well. Also soak up a little XP. And I'm just gonna get rid of everybody here. Get on this dark plank, kind of angle myself up a little bit. And remember that scene? Well, here we go. We're gonna be seeing this for the next couple of minutes. So these werewolves are worth about 20 XP each. And if you have the axe equipped, you can kind of just line yourself up just right like this and hit all 4 of them. So I'm going to be doing a mini grind here to get up to level 80. Oh, sorry. Level 80. Level 20. I'm going to be going to level 20. Level 80 would be a very, very long grind. What I meant to say is you get 80 XP each. So you can see how fast these levels were coming. Yeah, I think if I went up to level 80, we would be here for the next few hours. Yeah, platinum percent. Platinum in this game, yeah, you've got to go up to level 100, and then it's nice to make a quick save. Or actually, no, it's nice to make a hard save. That way you can take the other leveling path. So, levels in this game. You can choose from Warrior, which makes your strength grow 2 to 1. And then there's the opposite class, the Monk, which makes your defense grow 2 to 1. And then kind of the same thing going on with the magical classes. You can level up as a mage, which makes your intelligence or your magic damage go up 2 to 1. Or you can level up as a sage, which makes your magical defense grow 2 to 1. in this run, we're just interested in being a glass cannon. So, every level is just a warrior. So almost at level 20 here. Should just need to enter and exit just a few more times. And even with doing this method of grinding, sometimes like either the top wolf or the bottom wolf will get away. So here we are, level 20. We have arrived. Look, here's Fuji. That was really easy, right? But no, here's Julius. Julius has come to throw another fireball at Sumo. And there, again, he's falling. So that's fall number 2. I'm actually really worried about Sumo's health at this point. Then we meet our old friend Amanda. We saw her in one screen in the beginning. So, at this point, Sumo did have the Mana Pendant. But Amanda was also concerned about Sumo's health. So she made a deal with Davyous, who is another one of the villains in this game. Heals him up, but she had to trade the Mana Pendant for it. And we'll see more of her in just a bit. Wow, this screen. There were so many enemies there. It's like an insane amount of enemies there. So, in this game, it is mandatory to make this side trip up here. In the original Final Fantasy Adventure, you could skip this whole portion. But they put a little gap between the desert and the field in this game. So, it is no longer possible to skip the Chocobo. Yeah, this version of Endless Battlefield is probably my favorite. It's really good. In fact, pretty much all the remixed tracks in this game are just outstanding. Alright, so Chocobo. Not only do you go twice as fast, but you can just knock enemies out of the way. Let me go ahead and switch to my sword, because sometimes I forget to do that. And I'm gonna need that in the next dungeon, like right away. Yeah, for some reason there's like a giant Yoshi egg there with yellow spots. Not quite sure that's how eggs hatch in the wild, like in real life. But I'm willing to suspend my disbelief here. Alright, so, the desert. There's actually a really long side quest you're supposed to do here to get the answer to this little riddle, which is just running a figure 8 around these 2 trees and step on this invisible switch. It involves fighting a bunch of those dinosaur guys that are walking around, which have a pretty low drop rate for the item you're supposed to get. And so it could take a long while. Fortunately, you can just skip all that. Alright, and I need to be real careful here. This is the first appearance of Shadow Zeros. Which are those little guys that are just kind of darting in and out, going underground. And are worth the most XP in this dungeon. Like, 45 XP is no joke. But they will also one-shot you. Alright, so I'm just going to defensive spin through pretty much all these screens. All the screens that I can. I'm just going to try to get some jukes going here. I don't want to die. Right. This screen's pretty easy. And then I'm going to spin here just in case. Alright. Snapdragon says no. Okay, so coming up is the Blizzard spell. The Blizzard spell is one of 2 spells that you need to progress in this game. And it's the spell that's used the most. So I'm going to go ahead and swap that out with my axe here. Kind of duck and dodge between these guys. Okay, I'm really gonna try to level up now. I'm pretty darn close. I kind of want my stamina to replenish here. Oh, of course there's only one Shadow Zero when I spin through. Alright, that's fine, since there aren't too many enemies here. Very, very, very close there. Alright, so I'm just gonna smash that open. Looks like I need a few more Maddox. Actually pretty low. Pretty low. Alright, so we get like a tutorial there. And then we need to recreate the same situation here. By tossing that at a tarantula, turning him into a snowman, and not dying, because I'm just gonna dodge that attack. That's what's gonna happen. Man, I'm at 2 XP. Like, literally just one touch. One touch will do me in here. Right. What are we looking at here? Shadow Zeros? There's one. Okay. So I'm just gonna cut that off. Just so I can regain some stamina here. And then, hello, Medusa. So Medusa is one of the boss fights you can walk into where you don't actually have to have full stamina. Because I'm not going to attack her right away. I'm just going to wait for her to start doing that. Then I'm going to do this. I'm going to get behind her, though. Down she goes. Alright, so at some point during that battle, Medusa did jump out and lunge and bite Amanda. So we came all the way down here to get a Gorgon's Tear for Amanda's brother, who is currently a bird. Unfortunately, Medusa never cries. Amanda did get bit, and she counts as a Gorgon. She does cry for her brother, and now we get one of her tears. And you actually do have to walk forward and attack her there. So it's kind of visceral. Just a little bit. But on to happier stuff, right? Listen to this Chocobo theme, it's so good. Until... Jad? Okay, yeah, there's nothing wrong here. This town just has no music at all. Alright, so I'm gonna switch up my quick slots. And by the way, if you guys didn't know, these quick slots are just so incredibly good. It's one of the things that just makes this version of the game. So, as you may have already been seeing, if I have an item on that quick slot, a consumable item, as soon as I run out of a stack, it will just autofill the next one for me. So, it makes the menu system so much more bearable. Like, very, very bearable. Oop. I might have to kill a few of these guys. Yeah, here we go. I'm not at the level I want to be, so I might antagonize some of these enemies a little bit more. I kind of don't like fighting these Spiral the Dragon guys, because you can only hit them from one side. These guys are good, though. I just realized I don't have any keys, so let me go ahead and drop a stack on there. Also, whenever you have a key, like in any item slot, it will just automatically use it for you. Right, so I'm gonna definitely defensive spin here, and try to soak up a little XP along the way. Oh, that's a crystal. That is a crystal. Wow. The drops have been so good this run. These drops are just so good. These guys are a little scary, so I'm just going to do this. They also drop Ether, which is kind of useful. Oop. I'm just going to nope out of that situation. And that guy was a little too close. Alright, I'll just take the iframes and keep going. I'm just really glad I didn't get petrified there. Yeah, little VVs. Little bad VVs. They're actually pretty scary, so they can one-shot you. And they just pop up anywhere in the room. So, pretty scary situation whenever they're on screen. Luckily, after this dungeon, I don't have to deal with them too much. Alright. I'm actually coming up on the boss pretty quickly here. And this boss, he's one of the plot bosses. He is Davyous. He's in cahoots with Dark Lord. Yeah, so sit back and listen to this music. Just for a few seconds. It's gonna go by pretty quickly. And I need to time this just right, or else I get roasted. Yeah, so he's gonna circle around. At some point, he's gonna stop throwing nuke spells at me. So I'm gonna do that. Wait till he tosses. Use that. And then we're gonna kill him. So, something that is of note. You get a few iframes whenever you use an item in this game. I think except for the Maddock. So you can time it to where you can use that crystal and absorb that nuke spell. And I'm running a little low on Maddocks just because I got so many other good drops, so I'm going to make a little side trip here just to pick up a few more because I'm going to need them in the coming sections. So I usually don't make this trip, but it actually is necessary now. Yeah, and I'll buy 3 stacks. 3 stacks is good. So yeah, we rescue Amanda's brother, Lester, and he brings the music back to Jad. And now we will continue on. So, Davyous he created a poison cloud, and it was kind of hanging over this section. So if I went here previously, it would just reject me. But now that he's gone, I can just continue on. And I need my axe here, so we'll do that. Real quick swap. Go. It was too close. I didn't get the wolf. I tried though. And that's the important part. So, now I'm going to go into a quick dungeon. Hidden Waterfall. And I'm actually going to drop off my chocobo here for a while. So, we'll be seeing her in the second half of the game. But right now I've got to worry about this boss. There is a manipulation I need to get on this boss. If I don't get the manipulation, I only lose, like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 seconds. But I would like a quick kill, or a faster kill. We'll see what happens here. See if I get a good pattern in this room first. I did. We have full stamina. So, here we go. Giant enemy crab. So I'm going to try to get him to attack with his left claw. That didn't work. So now I'm going to lose a couple seconds. I'm going to move down here. There he goes. So how he works is if he attacks with his left claw and does the shockwave, you can get a little bit more damage in because that spin will, more of that spin will hit him. And then he'll attack with his right claw and just move off. However, if he attacks with his right claw like he did there, he will move off immediately. So I just need to reposition myself because he has a ginormous, like, a ridiculously large hitbox. Like, it's kind of insane how big his hitbox is. Right. Yeah, I'm gonna need to attack more enemies going through here. This is a section of the game I like to call the Gauntlet. because you go through a short cave, and then you fight a tough boss, and then you go through another short cave, and you fight another tough boss, and then you fight another tough boss. All the while going through these overworld sections that are also very scary, but give out a lot of XP. So those gorillas are like 100 XP per. So I'm going to try to soak up as much as I possibly can without going too far out of my way here. And then spin on every screen I possibly can. Okay. I mean, that works for me there. Cool. It actually gets really scary coming up. There are some jumping enemies that you can't quite tell sometimes where they're going to land. Normally I cast Sleep here to kind of neutralize them, but that wastes a little bit of time and it's an extra menu, so I just like pushing forward now. Alright, so I'm going to upgrade my armor, finally. We do have the base helmet and armor on. And this is going to help me to, I don't know, not die in one hit. At least for a few sections. It's actually great. So normally when I get here, I have like very low health. Like very low health. Where it kind of doesn't matter. Like I'll just get one shot anyway. But that well-time leveled up. At one time, that leveled up. It was good. Alright, so now I'm just going to keep pushing forward, and coming up is Crooked Boulder. It's kind of a Legend of Zelda Lost Woods type scenario. And I'm going to skip most of that cave. In fact, I'm going to skip like all of that cave. So what you're meant to do is go all the way through it. Of course, if you go the wrong way, you will end up back at the beginning. But I'm just going to walk in, I'm going to go straight forward, and I'm going to fight the real boss instead of the side boss. Just do a quick spin through there for safety. Walk through. And now I'm going to put all those Maddox to use. So, who's ready to count? Let's do some counting. Let's see, 1, 2, oh god, he's coming. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, that was pretty close. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. He might go crazy in a couple cycles here. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Probably this one. 6, 27, 28, 29. I'm actually just going to hold off. 30, 31. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. He didn't give me double laser, he just gave me crazy arms. Okay, when he does crazy arms, it gives it, that hitbox is enormous, again, and it takes a little while for him to get back into position. And I've kind of lost track, but he's almost dead. You have ruined my counting, sir. Of course. Alright, I didn't die, that's the important part. Yeah, so when you get to about 30 hits there, he can either give you the double laser, which is what you want because it continues the pattern as normal, or he'll just give you crazy arms and just start going nuts like that and lose a bunch of time. But anyway, on to Castle Glaive. So I'm going to try to soak up some XP here as well. Mostly from these Minotaur enemies that are coming up. I think they're worth like either 125 or 150 XP. So definitely worth taking out whenever you cross paths with them. Like here. Nice XP. Yeah, I think I might go to that, getting the Mithril helmet. Because it does give you some measure of protection. Yeah, and I think it does absorb nuke spells coming from the sky, which is pretty helpful for the next boss. But I've just been saving like a few seconds on that menu. I mean, I guess I could go over there since I gotta go to buy Maddox in that same shop. Yeah, you're supposed to go to the other side, fight the Cyclops, and get the Morning Star, which is pretty much the weapon version. The weapon version of the Maddox. But you can just use Maddox to kill Golem, so yeah, just an entire boss skip. Alright. And suddenly a Chimera. And suddenly a death. Okay, so this is what my other Bacchus wine is for. It takes a few cycles off this fight. Especially the way I fight him. I try to get double hits, which I dash forward, and then try to get a hit when he gets into position on the way back. Oh my. This is going very well. Yeah, the Morning Star is good, but it's not worth, like, a couple minutes. Alright, round 3. Third time's a charm, right? Morning Star does help with this boss. Okay, there are those iframes I was looking for. Okay, this is a little bit odd, but I can work with it. Okay, so, Chimera. He's just gonna do this, apparently. Just behave. You're supposed to behave. Okay, round 4. We are ready to get him this time. Or not? Okay. I promise I'm gonna fight him, guys. I promise I'm gonna fight him and beat him this time. Okay, and I'm just not gonna use that at the beginning of the fight. I'm just gonna go over here, get in position. Oh god. Look at that. I'm gonna use that there. We're gonna avoid these nuke spells. Okay, there are the double hits. And now he's in a really good position here. So I'm just gonna pop him with the Maddox in midair, like that. Get those double hits like so. And then just for a little extra damage, just because my stamina completely comes back by the time that nuke spell falls down, you can just get a little Maddox swing in there. So Maddox does have a few frames where it hits airborne. Oh, that was almost a disaster. But there he goes. That's one of the more exciting bosses. There is another strat where you kind of stand right underneath him, and I believe you do have to have the Mithril Hum for that, to absorb the nuke spells. Actually, don't know which way is faster. Yeah, first try, right? Let's celebrate. Alright, so Fuji's back, and she is on healing duty once again. So I need to heal up actually quite a bit here. Pretty much to full, because there are some spikes where it's like mandatory to walk over. And they do a whole lot of damage. And I need to be at least 50 to kind of shortcut this room. I'm not going to shortcut it right now. We're just going to continue on. And then this room's kind of scary too. In fact, I walked a little too close to that. Okay, so things aren't going well right now. I promise it's going to get better though. So I'm just going to spin through there this time. Alright, so let's get back on the rails here. So I'm going to switch to my handy dandy flail. I'm going to get rid of that. So crystals really help out in this section, because you need full stamina across every single gap here. And that's fine. I'm just going to play Ring Around the Rosie with these knights while Fuji heals me up. Okay, out of there. Alright, there's not too much going on in the rest of this dungeon. There is a very important item I need to pick up. That's pretty much, it gets me through the boss of this dungeon and through a few more fights. It's actually pretty integral to a couple fights in this game. But first, I'm going to take out all those werewolves. And there is the first of 3 rooms in this game where you're just totally at the mercy of RNG. And we'll get to that a little bit later. So what I need is for these knights, that knight that just kind of rudely walked into me, we're going to need 2 of those guys to spawn. Actually, maybe just 1. I think actually just 1. So, I'm going to go north here in a second, but I'm going to take a small detour. We're going to go into this room, and hopefully I don't die immediately. Alright, didn't die immediately. Let's get a spin in here. That's a decent spin, and a music glitch. Sometimes that happens. I have yet to figure out why. But it doesn't mess anything else up. And then we'll get this guy. Oh, I'm just going to heal and get out of there because that's the better decision. And then we get the blood sword. So, I no longer have to worry about Fuji healing me. I can heal myself. I can heal myself just by attacking. Which is going to come in very, very handy for the boss. But now, besides that one room, I can pretty much just run to the end of this dungeon. See if there are any Minotaurs around within reach. Nope. Nothing. Alright. Oh, there's one. Hello. Okay, so toss on this blizzard spell here. And we'll see what happens. We've got a mage. Okay, take 2. We've got at least 1 knight here. I think I might be able to manipulate him. Yeah. Come back! I think I can get him if he moves away from the wall here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so I need just enough space. Oh, actually, I do need 2. I need 2 in this room, apparently. So I was in one of the other rooms earlier and found out that you just need 1. So I was trying the same thing here. Unfortunately, looks like I'm gonna have to do like a kind of a hard reset. So I'm gonna have to move far enough away to respawn these enemies. So yeah, these rooms can kind of just make or break your run. And that kind of sucks. So we are losing some time here. In fact, I'm just actually going to totally exit this section and come back in. Probably losing like a minute and a half, if I get good RNG back here. Alright, let's see. Oh, 2 knights. Okay. That is really, really good. Okay, now I just need one of these guys to come away from the wall. And I have exactly 2 MP. So I can waste 1 shot. My aim is true! Alright. We got him. Yes, that does work, actually. Yeah, you can just quit out. Yeah, actually, that would have been faster there if I just quit out and then went into the next room and came back in. But we're here now. We're at Stroud. So, Stroud is kind of like a freight train. He could just run you over if he wants to. He has iframes on every attack, and he can get very aggressive. So I'm just going to start out with a spin, try to stay behind him. And then I'm just going to try to contest him here. Alright, that was good. That was real good. So down he goes. Pretty quick fight when he cooperates. Alright, so all this time he had the fake Mana Pendant. And where's Fuji, you might be asking yourself? Well, she seems to be under a spell. So she's gonna wander away over here. Fuji? Fuji, where are you going? Oh, look! It's Julius, again. So now that Fuji is under Julius' spell, he gets exactly what he wants. Especially since he has the Mana Pendant. So, he's going to open the way to the Mana Sanctuary. He's going to ascend, and then he's going to do what he does best. Toss a fireball right at Sumo and knock him halfway across the world. And then that's how physics works. That's how physics work. Water goes up. Okay. So, Sumo is severely injured again. And then look, there's our Chocobo. She just comes out into the middle of the desert, finds us, and then takes us to the nearest town. So in this town, we just happen to meet up with Bogard. And this is actually a pretty pivotal point in the narrative here. So Bogard is injured, and he's no longer able to be the hero of the quest, so he has a little conversation with Sumo and tells him that it's all on his shoulders now. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to stock up on Maddox and keys for the rest of the game. Buying lots and lots of Maddox here. So just one more stack, and then I'm going to buy a few stacks of keys, and we are going to be A-okay. One more. There we go. Alright, let's set out. Well, Bogard is his first name. Okay, so running over here, we hear all this commotion coming from this laboratory. So what's going on in here? Let's check it out. So, our Chocobo was so severely injured. Her legs just did not want to go on. So, we have Professor Watts up there. I think he's just called the Professor here. Yeah, just the Professor. The only Professor in the game. He turns our Chocobo into a Chocobot, so she gets robotic legs. And now we're able to do cool things, like ski on the water. The world map music also changes, and we get a really cool cape. So there's a cutscene that's supposed to play. You're supposed to go back and talk to Bogard, and they're going to have that conversation, where Bogard tells Sumo that the fate of the world's resting on his shoulders at this point. And then we get his cape. And we look all cool. And up, here we go. So we're skiing on water. So coming up is something that I found near the beginning of last year, but I didn't really know how to utilize it until the end of last year. So there is a little glitch in this game. There's actually a couple glitches that are beneficial to the run, and I'll be utilizing both of them. First, I'm gonna get rid of this crystal in my inventory, We're gonna switch over here. Boom, boom. Now I'm all set up for the next section. So, not exactly sure how it works, but I understand the elements. So, you need to be lined up on something that or a cliff that has sufficient height. You need to kind of replace something on the world map. You can remove trees and boulders from the world map, and then you can just walk underneath like this. And then if you keep mounting your chocobo and dismounting your chocobo, eventually you'll just pop up out of the ground like this. And then we have the chocobo somewhere she's not supposed to be. So she's not supposed to be up here in the hinterlands. It's a little too cold for her, rather. So yeah, that saves around about 30-40 seconds to get into the ice caves. And there's going to be a couple more uses right after this. But first, Ice Caves. The most terrible dungeon in the game for this speedrun. You're kind of at the mercy of RNG, but kind of not. You do need to keep your health really, really high, because there are a lot of these ice flows, and enemies can spawn up under the arches. Yeah, enemies will follow you onto the ice flow. And yeah, you can't dodge them. You're just gonna keep going in a straight line like that. Seems to be pretty good so far, though. Also, there are a lot of enemies in here that are just generally resistant to Blood Sword, so I can't get back as much health. So yeah, little difficult. Yeah, this is another section that can pretty much just make or break your run. You can have a good first half and just get absolutely destroyed when you come through here, unfortunately. These mad mallards are crazy, so I'm just gonna take them out. Which is good. I'm a little under-leveled. I want to get up to level 26. I don't know if I'm gonna make that here. Probably not. But I'm going to soak up as much XP as I possibly can. We seem to be having a pretty good ice flow here. Oh, just when I say something. There's one. I'm just going to get some health there, just in case. Okay, good. This dungeon is so scary, man. It is kind of insane sometimes. But moving through pretty efficiently here. I'm just gonna do a defensive spin. Nope, I don't want to deal with those guys. And I'm actually surprised he didn't hit me there. I must have warped out of the room before I touched his hitbox. There is a flame flail you can get to make this dungeon a little easier, but we usually don't have that much money when you get to Ish, which is the town you start out in the second half of the game. Wow, okay. I guess I'll take that. This dungeon hasn't been too mean. The next room can definitely be a problem, though. We'll see how many snowmen... See how many snowmen this game gives me. A bunch. But this guy is the only one that's in my way, so I'm just going to shrink my hitbox down, and we're going to move on. And then there's one random room here where you need to use your axe to cut down the briars. Back to the blood sword. Just going to get a few hits on that guy. Man, you really got to hold your breath through here. Like, you just never know what's going to happen. It is a thrill ride. Okay. Alright. It's pretty good. If the next screen is good, I will... Okay. Thank you, game. Just knocked me right back into the ice flow. And that one sucks, because you gotta go a few screens back. That was well-timed. Well-timed. Don't do it again. Alright, I'm trapped. I'm not trapped. Here we go. I'm gonna use a Maddock to knock this guy out of the way, actually. Oh boy. This is very silly now. I didn't die. That's the important part. Alright, so I just need one charge to get across here. And now we can pretty much just march safely to the boss. There's like one more ice flow, but I'll just flail over it. Actually, no, I'm thinking of a different floor. Yeah, a few screens from the boss. And this is one of the bosses where you can use the blood sword to your advantage. So I'm actually going to gain a little bit of stamina here. Walk over to her. Okay, so there is a manipulation for her, like there is for a lot of the bosses in the game. So I'm just going to walk right over. I'm just going to dump all this damage into her. I'm going to stand directly in front of her and do single slashes. If you stand within a certain proximity, she will just forever throw these ice spells at you. And with the blood sword, you can just forever recover health. Okay, she got away from me a little bit there, but recovered. Actually got her before she did her lunge attack. So we grab the ice brand, which is useful only at one point in the run. And then I'm gonna ride my chocobo and go through these areas. It kind of sucks a little bit because I used to soak up a lot of XP, like killing these walruses and these saber cats through this section, and now I can just kind of blow through it on the chocobo. And again, she's not supposed to be up here because that skip actually skipped over the trigger where she stays behind, which is right here. So Sumo's gonna do a double take. Yeah, and we're just going to continue on. So I do need to pick up like the key for the next dungeon. So that's in the next town. So if I were to go to Lorimar before Ice Caves, everything would be frozen. Everything would be frozen over, and then eventually I would make my way back around to Ice Caves, defeat Merilith, and now, and then come back down here. So now we're here. Only thing you have to come in here for is the key. And Siba looks like he spawned way back there. So, the one use key that you actually can't get rid of, like the silver key in the beginning. So this thing's just stuck in your inventory. It just permanently takes up an inventory slot. Okay, so this section is actually pretty glitchy as well. Gonna set up another world map skip. Get rid of this flying fish first. And get rid of all these trees. Hop on the chocobo, line up on the edge. Down, get back on the chocobo. And then we're gonna go right over to Float Rocks. So normally this was like a pretty boring portion of the run. So you would have to go all the way around the top of the map. Oh, look at these guys. You would have to go all the way around the top of the map, and then a very long way just to get here. Now you can just walk over a couple screens. It's so convenient. It's so convenient when you can just walk through walls. Okay, and now we're going to get to the reason why they call this Float Rocks. And previously, you could actually hit a soft block if you didn't have enough Maddocks in this section of the run. So you needed 20-something Maddocks to actually get in, get through the dungeons, and then get out of this section. But with all the skips now, you can just have enough Maddocks to get in, get through the dungeons. And that's it. You use the rest of your Maddocks for the other dungeons in the game. Because I'm actually going to skip out of this section. I'm going to get on the chocobo here, just to make that a little safer. And so the thing about this skip if I miss this one, I have to redo this entire section. So I'm going to put my nose against the boulder here, move down, we're going to hop off, go inside the landmass, and then move a couple screens down, move over, go down here. I'm going to try to resurface right about here. Okay, that works. If you go off into the water there, then you gotta restart the whole section. It's very annoying. Alright, so the purchases I'm gonna make here, just a couple of these thunderbolts, because there's another glitch I'm gonna at least attempt to execute down here. And I'm gonna buy an ether just to be safe. Some enemies down in the heart of this dungeon will drop some ethers, but I don't want to take a gamble. So I'm just gonna get set up here. I'm gonna swap that there, and here we go. It's not on iOS. It is on Android though. It is an Android game. I think they just took advantage of putting it on Vita because it was somewhat popular at the time. Yes, this actually does have touchscreen controls. Actually, I'm tapping the screen to scroll the text so fast as well. I'm also tapping the quick switch icons when I'm swapping something in there. Alright. So, Kraken. He's big and he's bad, and hopefully he dies in one hit here. And hopefully I don't die in one hit, because when he attacks, his tentacle stays there and it lingers for a long time. And I'm one shot, like, no matter what. So we're gonna hit him with that. Oh, missed a quick kill. So now I'm just gonna do a dance with the tentacles here. Ooh. Didn't get away with it. Alright, got another shot at the quick kill. So what's crazy about this is that I have not been missing it until lately. Pretty much every run of this game I've done for practice, it's been like 100%. So we'll try again. Gotta zap him with the Thunderbolt. Do that, and then zap him again. And still didn't get him. Interesting. Alright, so now we'll do the Dance of Death. How about now? Okay, so I got him that time. Oh, he almost killed me too. He must have hit my shield or something. That's weird. It left me at 3 HP. Normally, if I get hit by one of those tentacles, it just outright kills me. But yeah, you throw one of those thunderbolts out there, and then you throw a second one, and then if you sword dash, or really, you can actually kill him with the flail there too. Again, it's a glitch that I'm not entirely sure what happens there. But if you hit him at like the same point where the Thunderbolt is hitting him, it just replicates the Thunderbolt spell so many times. And just does a massive amount of damage. Alright, so moving on from him. So this is Rng Room Number 2. Let's hope we get better luck here. So I'm going to swap in my Sickle, swap in my Blizzard spell. And then we'll see if we get a couple of knights. Got one knight, got two knights. So we'll kind of have to lure them away. And I'm going to take these guys out because they're very annoying. Alright, so lure this guy over. Oh, he almost got away. And I'm going to do that. Just so that guy's not moving around. And I suspect you need only one snowman here as well. Push him way out. But getting two knights here and turning them both into snowmen, a little bit faster. You don't have to manipulate the snowman to one switch and the other. Okay, gained a little bit of time there. And then I do want to level up, so I'm probably going to antagonize some of these enemies a little bit more than I normally would. Just going to casually walk across that lava. It's no big deal. Still get my health back right here. Alright. Lots of enemies here. Yeah, those little, I don't know, yellow dragon guys, they don't really give that much XP. In fact, it's a kind of a weird enemy to have at this point in the run. Like, they're fairly weak, actually. Just gonna casually walk across some more lava. Yeah, the blood sword is like really, really nice. Like it's really nice. Especially paired up with how much physical damage I'm outputting. That is not a place where I use a Maddock. So yeah, you can do one sword dash on an enemy and then boom, there's your entire health bar back. And then here you always go to the right. That's the right path. Wink wink. And we're going to be getting to Rng Room Number 3 pretty quickly here. Okay. So, I am Moogled, and for some reason I also can move. So we're just gonna stand here. Okay, now I'm just petrified. Alright, I'm just gonna quit out, and we're gonna redo this room. That was actually interesting. So I did tell you guys about the Moogle and petrification earlier in the run. I didn't think it was going to happen with the wizards. This guy is pretty scary. Okay, so in this room you really only need one snowman. Which is cool. It's really cool. Alright, now, the one place where the ice brand is useful. Ifrit. So you see that little spherical form he's in? I really don't want to see that again. So, I have my death blow, I'm just going to walk up, I'm going to spin, spin, spin. And I'm just going to keep damaging him until he throws that, and back off a little bit. And I'm just going to antagonize him a little bit here. Until he goes back to the center. He's going to toss another one. I'm just going to build stamina, don't mind me. And then we're going to spin, spin, spin. And down he goes. And we came down here to get the Sword of Mana, but for some reason we just got a rusty sword. It's actually very disappointing. So I'm going to switch back over to the Blood Sword, because I need that for the next section anyway. And I need it right now just to get some health. So I've still got one Ether, I think. Didn't have to use it down there, so I'm going to stock up on these Thunderbolts. We're going to use those later. Going to get at least 4 stacks. And 4. And then all these enemies are cleared out. So I'm going to clear out this boulder, hop on the chocobo, move forward just a bit, and then we're going to skip down here, and not worry about going all the way back through float rocks. So this skip is so convenient. Again, you would have to come all the way out of float rocks, and then go back near Ish, which is that town near the second half of the game. But you can just casually, like, skip down off that cliff, and the desert island is right here. So I used to do the second half of the game in a different order. I actually used to come up here and fight death first, and then do the rest of the stuff. Because it made sense not to come back this direction again. But, you know what? Now it makes sense to do it at the end. Alright, so Death is a little scary. He's not, like, super scary or anything. Can't fight him with the Ice Brand because he is resistant to that. So we do have to fight him with the Blood Sword. So it is a little bit better to fight him a bit later because you don't get as much of a strength boost from the Ice Brand. Or from the Blood Sword, rather. So he's going to come in and he's going to cackle at me. And he's going to kind of go in his pattern from the original game. Kind of a figure 8 there, and he's going to appear at some point in the room. So it's very important in this fight to know which cycle you're on. Yeah, so okay, that's what I'm waiting for right there. Yep, and almost died because I was in the center. So those red skulls will reverse your controls if they hit, and they will also cut right through your iframes. There are only a few attacks in this game that will cut through your iframes. So there's that. There's some poison clouds as well. Oops. And down he goes. There are no evil doors in this game. There are evil shields. They're about as big as a door, so I suppose that counts. Alright, so the only reason you need to fight Death is to get the final spell in the game, which I only use once. And it looks like I'm actually going to need to use that Ether, because I have no magic at this point. So now I'm kind of marching towards the end game. There are only a couple dungeons left. Actually, only 3 dungeons left. The first one coming up is very, very short, and it has a really tough boss. Like a ridiculous boss. The strat is fairly easy to execute. But the arena itself is a problem. The arena itself and how much space he takes up in it. So we're just going to blow open that specific crystal. It's going to open a way to Buried Ruins. Yeah. There's some evil shields. I'm going to try to gain a level down here. Not sure how successful I'm going to be, because half the enemies down here are golems, which I can't damage anyway. So, there are a couple upgrades you can grab here. One of them I'm going to go grab right now. You can get the Dragon Shield a couple screens back, but more importantly, I just want to grab the Dragon Buster, which is the second best sword in the game. And I'm going to get a little bit of iframes just to go through those laser gates. I'm going to go over here. So that's pretty much this dungeon right here. That's about it. What do these guys drop? High potion? I don't need that. Okay, there's the level. I do like to have a little bit more strength. It makes me feel just slightly better about this boss fight. This might take a while. We'll see what happens. Oh, look at that guy. He just slightly moved out of the way. I almost got him. Okay, round and around. Now I'm going to drop on that Dragon Buster. So, going to get rid of the sickle. And I'm actually going to put that rusty sword on as well. Keep my death blow. I'm going to go along the right side here. And we're going to fight Mantis Ant. This fight is such a pain. Part of it is because you do have to take a lot of damage just getting into the arena. And now he's doing something. I'm not quite sure what he's doing here. Excellent. Things are all going according to plan. Alright. So he did something a little weird. I also had Bloodsword equipped, so my strat probably wasn't going to work out. I had to take some modifications there, even if that were to work out. So let me go ahead and drop on Dragon Buster. Get that extra damage in there. Yeah, so this is normal-ish. Alright, we are going off the rails once again. I need to back off. And I like getting set up like right around here, like diagonally. Alright, he's gonna jump. I'm gonna spin. He should die from this. There he goes. Alright, second try and bad there. So I'm gonna put on the Rusty Sword, plunge it into this panel, and we're gonna raise Dime Tower. Because now I need to get back to the Mana Sanctuary. Yeah, so you can take so much damage from just the sides of the arena. Like, you combine that with the fact that his sides take up so much space inside there, and you're... you gotta move just right not to die. Alright, I think I'm gonna go buy a backup ether here. So there's a little spell shop right next door to Dime Tower, conveniently. Again, I just don't want to risk an ether drop not coming. And this doesn't cost too much time. So we're just gonna get right in here. Gonna just buy one of those and then... Oh, wait. My inventory is full. Let's see. What am I gonna get rid of? Oh. Of course. Just get rid of one of those. Okay. So. We get the best partner in the game. She is coming up. In just a few screens. And also, we gotta wave goodbye to Chocobo. She's a very good companion, but we gotta leave her behind here. So Marcy is kind of ridiculous, actually. Look at that key drop. The drops are just so nice throughout this run. Hopefully, I get a samurai armor drop in Mana Tower. That would be the cherry on top. But anyway. Marcy's Ask ability is to replenish your magic, and she will also shoot a lot more accurately than any other partner, and do a lot more damage too. Like, just the best partner by far. Alright, yeah, so I'm actually gonna try to soak up some XP here. It would be nice if I get level 28 coming out. Coming out of Dime Tower. Yeah, not really much going on here. I'm taking this specific path because I want to go up the eastern side of the tower. There's just less stuff you have to deal with. You go up the western side, you gotta equip Flail, and then you deal with a bunch of other madness. Where the east side is just nice and smooth. Except for that, because you can drop on some keys. Drop some keys to proceed. And you can also get the dragon armor from the room to the right, but don't necessarily need it, so I'm just gonna keep going. Here's level 28. Hopefully I can get to level 30 of the Mana Tower. That would make the final boss slightly less stressful. Alright, so this is the one room where you need to equip your axe randomly and... Oh. Axe randomly and Blizzard spell. So I'm just going to chop those down. This is just another turn enemies into snowmen. Push them to the switches room. Except there's no RNG in this one. Okay, apparently that axe had enough damage to just like off that guy. Well, that's interesting. So was that. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about taking damage. I'm pretty much one shot on the boss anyway. So I'm just gonna chill out here. I'm gonna do a little menu, swap to those thunderbolts, and then wait for my stamina to regen. Because 9 times out of 10, Garuda will give you a dive right here. In a casual run, I think I was around 35, mid to high 30s, I think. Oh. Okay, so for Garuda, there's a variety of ways you can just sneak damage in. The way I like to sneak damage in on Garuda is just using these thunderbolts. Oh, kind of missing my double hit there. When Garuda goes up in the air, you can actually get a few hits on him just with the Maddock with a few airborne frames there. But you can also contest his normal volley just like that with the iframes. Oh, look at that. See? Marcy just getting in there. Crazy. Alright, this is a little bit longer than normal. There he goes. And yeah, it's definitely easy to get lost in the previous dungeons. Like, there are some circuits you can get on that just go around and around and around. And you don't realize that, you might not realize that you have to like break a wall or something to actually get through them. Yeah, that was kind of a slower Garuda fight. It wasn't like super slow. Like, the thunderbolts keep the consistent damage there. Yes, they do. It really depends on what leveling path. If you level as a monk, you'll get much more defense than what I have here. So, in this run, we just level as a glass cannon. So, that just means taking the warrior path over and over again, making strength grow 2 to 1. So, I have very little defense. Also, yeah, can we get some Fs in the chat for Marcy? Best partner by far. Only get to use her for one section. But you can see just how effective she was in that boss fight. Like, no other partner is that effective. It's crazy. It's just crazy how good Marcy is. But here we go. The Mana Tower. So Mana Tower is split into 3 different sections, so we will get 3 different bosses for the 3 different sections. And they are all of one particular theme. Let's see if you can figure it out. Also, I'm gonna antagonize some of these ninjas. They drop the samurai armor, which is the strongest armor in the game. They also give a lot of XP. Level 29 is real good here. Alright, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to build up my stamina bar. And then we fight our first boss. And here we go. Start off with the spin, just like usual. Try to get as much damage in here as possible. Cut it off. I'm going to run up here, kind of get in the pocket, and wait for him to start spinning. So I'm just going to go over here because the spin has kind of a big wind-up. I don't want to get hit out of it. And down he goes. Now, in the original patch of this game, there was a way to manipulate those dragons to where they just turn towards you and they get stuck and they can do absolutely nothing. But that's gone. That's long gone. Luckily, they're not too hard. And it just so happens that we have a Dragon Buster, right? Alright, so I actually want to go up here. Oh. I really don't like attacking those demon heads too much. They're kind of like the wizards from earlier. They can just disappear and like reappear wherever they want. Yeah, so yucking around in there will most likely net you a death. Alright, actually coming up on the second boss here after our obligatory Mana use. Boom. I actually thought I was going to die, but apparently there's no hitbox behind those guys. Okay. I tried to turn around and reset the room, but they just got me. Okay, we're gonna go over here. Pretty much what you're looking for in Mana Towers is to get onto these straight paths. Pretty much anytime you see one of those straight paths, you know you're going the right way. And this is the room I kind of use for confirmation for the second part, that I did go the right way. Just call it the 6-pillar room. And then we get one more use of Blizzard here. And we'll see if this guy's going to be a jerk or not. Looks like the Minotaur to the right. Okay, he's moving. He stopped. Okay, we're good. Actually, great. Who could see that coming? Who could see that one coming? I didn't think that was going to kill me, but yeah, the game had other plans. Okay, so I guess we're redoing this room. Alright, looks like Minotaur to the right. Alright, he's being kind again. Probably dead again here. Oh, look at that dodge. Yeah, it's just an RNG manipulation. Nothing to worry about there. Actually, I've got to take a damage boost on this boss, so I'm gonna get back some health here. Gotta take down both these guys. Alright. So now I've just gotta sit here and build up my stamina because I want to go into this one with a death blow as well. So now we get our second boss, the Red Dragon. And pretty much take this fight the same way. Except you get a little less damage from the spin because he lifts his head so far up in the air. And he has this spin attack. But you don't want to go completely behind because he will do a 180 and hit you. Okay, and you take way more damage from the fire as it's coming out of his mouth. And not so much when it's pretty far away like that. So I'm just going to sit here and damage him, and at some point he's going to go down. Alright, that's dragon number 2. Okay, so the next dragon, he's a headache. He's a big headache. He's kind of ridiculous. So I'm kind of hoping I can get level 30 before I get to him. If not, we're just gonna go in level 29. It's fine. More dragons in Dragon Quest. Exactly. Yeah. Let's see. Not too much left to talk about here in the Mana Tower. There's the level. You pretty much just have to go the right way. And then... oh, yeah. It's down here. So, speaking of which, I was actually just gonna go the wrong way. Okay. We're on the right track, though. So that circuit I would have gone on if I just kept going forward. Actually just leads to a dead end. It eats up a lot of time. Luckily, when you do find the right way, all you have to do is like run forward on the next floor. Run forward, and then our final use of the blizzard spell is coming up here. Good ninja. Oh wow, all of them disappeared. That guy was kind of nice though, I guess. Alright, so coming up on the Gatekeeper. This is another boss that can just make or break your run. Dragon Zombie is a handful. So, he's pretty much Hydra from the beginning of the game, who is also a problem, but you can kinda sorta manipulate him. So I'm gonna try that right here in the beginning. So you kinda wanna spin, get in front of him like this. Yeah, there we go. And you can just bait him to come forward, get a bunch of damage off the spin. He's not in the best position here. Okay, that's a little bit better. That's not quite as good. Alright, so those poison clouds, again, they can eat right through your iframes. Alright, so I want to space him just like this. Oh, that was a real good fight. Okay. There we go. So, Dragon Zombie can put stuff all over the screen. That fight can actually get pretty crazy. Yeah, so my new strategy is kind of just stay up near him. Yeah, that way he spits his regular fireballs kind of up and down, close to him. You have less that you really need to dodge, worry about in general. But here's Fuji's mother. So now we're going to get the proper Sword of Mana. So our Rusty Sword actually transforms, and the funny thing about that is that if you have the Rusty Sword on a quick slot, once it transforms into Excalibur, it just is completely taken out of that slot for whatever reason. And yes, it is time for Julius. Like a very, very RNG heavy boss here. Especially for Phase 1. So, I have not quite figured out how this battle works. So, there is zero way to track the real Julius here. So, more or less what you have to do is try to stack up as many as you can with a sword dash, and then get shots in. Shots in as they disappear. And try to get rid of that nuke spell. Another thing I try to do is attack him on the way out instead of the way in, because that shield will one-shot you. Okay, this is the real one right here. It's the only opportunity you get to like get massive damage on him. Then he comes back for the second half of Phase 1. Scary. That was actually real scary. Oh, did I hit him? I didn't hit him. Alright, this is a longer Phase 1. So he plays the shell game, but even if you track the Julius from the beginning, which I think is the real one, the one that tosses a fireball with at you right at the start of the fight, even if you track him around, it doesn't seem to do damage to the real Julius, so I have no idea, again, like, how this even works. It's like some element of luck. Wow, alright, so this is a real long Phase 1. They just keep disappearing. What do you do about this? So the song is actually looped at this point. Crazy. Alright, so Phase 2 is not quite as stressful. Yeah, so another change in this version. In the original, once you go from phase to phase in Julius, in this fight, you could actually save and just restart on that phase. For this game, if you die, you're restarting from phase 1. So you'll lose a ridiculous amount of time. Alright, so he starts off with a dive kick, so I like running to that point over there, and eventually I'll get my stamina bar, and I'll just challenge whatever he does here to give him a good stagger. Just build up stamina here, and then hit him a few times. Okay, this... Alright, not quite enough damage to send him into the second variant of his attacks. Okay. So I want to get kind of close to him here. I want to bait out that melee. Otherwise, he like goes way up in the air and he comes down and he stomps on you and it wastes a bunch of time. Okay, phase 3. And time is coming up when phase 3 flashes red. So, this fight is kind of stressful because you're one hit. He has the biggest hitbox in the game, and he's tossing these nuke spells at you. So you kind of have to stick and move. Hopefully he doesn't spawn right on top of you, and just keep sword dashing until he's done. Oh, I actually almost got hit by that. Yeah, so he's massive, and you have this little tiny arena to fight him on. Also, it gets a little bit laggy when he's teleporting out. Okay, what is this? 3? Cycle 3? I think his desperation attack is coming now. So I'm just gonna... I'm actually... Oh, there. That's time. There we go. I didn't even have to deal with his desperation attack. So he just tosses out a bunch of nuke spells, and if you move a little bit too fast, you're gonna get clipped by one. So yeah, that's that. That was actually a pretty good Julius fight, besides phase 1. And it doesn't matter where you kill Julius there. Like, again, in this version, you won't die from the explosion, which was a very cruel thing they had in the beginning, in the original version. Oh, man. So yeah, Julius is gone. Unfortunately, the mana tree was taken out with him. So now Fuji must realize her destiny and become the mana tree. First, we get one more vision from her mother. So yeah, I don't know how long you want this to play out. The ending is not too long though, just a couple minutes more. Yeah, so... yeah, I think in all 3 of the original games, the mana tree is destroyed at the end. At least in the second Mana series, like the World of Mana games, it survives every time. I think the same thing is true of Legend of Mana, but not Sword. I think the mana tree just withers in Sword. She looks a little bit bored. She does. But after this, I guess she won't have any facial expressions, well, ever again. which is kind of weird to think about. Yeah, so it's the mana, the Tree Maiden's destiny to become the Mana Tree, and of course the Geminite, their destiny is to protect the Mana Tree. So that's the arrangement we're going to be in here in a second. But we just get one last send-off to Fuji's mother here. So she just tells us about Bogard and how she loves Bogard, and she wants him to know that. So there we go. And this was obviously before she came the previous Mana Tree. Which Bogard is all the way back in Ish. So we have to get on our Chocobo at some point. And well, there she goes. And there he goes. The end. Kind of. Yeah, it's a PS Vita game. Yeah, I believe this game is just $13 at this point. It's a good one to pick up, especially if you're a fan of the original. You're gonna love all the modernizations that this version brings. Yeah, it's on Android and I think iOS. No, he doesn't marry the Mana Tree. He just goes out to protect her. Should evil rise again, because now he's in possession of the Sword of Mana. So yeah, that's it. Again, I'm SmellyMctroll. I do a lot of these Mana series runs, just in general. Mostly the newer stuff. I play some of the old stuff too. I don't speedrun any of the old stuff though. Yeah, one of my favorite series, probably next to Ultima. Yeah, just want to thank High Spirits for letting me in the marathon. This was really fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I have. Really fun to watch. The rest of the runners, really fun to play this game, and I always love showing this one off to people.